Tom Ford MetalLust palette here. And this came out last month and it's been very hard to get, but I got my hands on it through Beautylish. If you're interested in a review and some swatches, then keep watching. This came out, I believe, sometime, maybe at the end of January, beginning of February. I'm filming at the beginning of March now, and it's been in and out of stock for quite a while. It's been really challenging for folks to get this palette, and it's not a palette that is going to stay clean, particularly with these shimmer shades. So what I can say off the bat, I have tried a lot of Tom Ford. I have not all the quads, but I am a huge fan of the wet and dry formula. And if you're not new to my channel, you probably know that I've been on and off with Tom Ford. I think in the past 2 years, I've been really underwhelmed by their releases. So probably the last exciting release that I can recall was probably the first Frost. That was a wet dry formula. I tried it, and it just, because of my undertone and the warmth of my skin, it just ended up looking like all shimmer shades with no dimension at all. And since then, I really feel that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is what, makeup is subjective to, that, this is luxury beauty. The price of these quads are $89, and for me, I'm always like thinking of the cost of each pan that you pay for the price of the entire palette. The past 2 years, I really feel that the releases coming out of Tom Ford have been really perplexing, at least for me. I feel like a lot of the releases have been a lot of remixes of the same eyeshadow palettes that they have. So they might have a combination of some of the new dip colors mixed with honeymoon, and I'm just not into that. If I have those colors already in my collection, it doesn't make any sense for me to buy those. And I've seen reviews of other, beauty content creators with huger following than me who have reviewed Tom Ford, and the reviews have been really inconsistent on the color stories. I don't know so much about the quality. I know that I tried the recent release of the reformulated matte shadows. They are lovely, and I think if you love mattes and want an easy quad, I think those are great. I just didn't really care for the smoky quad, but that's just my preference. There was nothing wrong with it. If you love smoky eyes and you want something really easy, I think that would be a great first easy palette for you to start at. Or if you're looking for something just really basic and good quality, I would start with that. So I've ended up using this twice, and today's the second day that I've used it. And the demo will be with the other look. But for this look I have on today, I ended up using this as a crease shade. I ended up taking my Chanel Stylo Ombre et Contour, and it's in electric brown. And it's just really to give some definition over here. Actually 2 shades today, and this is the fun thing about Tom Ford, is that you don't have to use all the shades of the quad. So I ended up just using 2 shades today, which is this to lay down in the crease, and then using this one all over the lid. And so it's a really beautiful one. But I actually, before I started filming, I did end up using this on the inner lid just for a pop, but I didn't have to do that. Really, I just wanted to show you that you could really just use 2 of the eyeshadow, kind of a simple taupey look, and I think it's just beautiful. These cool tone taupes can just go with anything. What we'll do is go to the demo that I have, and then you'll see how I applied this with all 4 colors. I actually did one side with this color and then one side with that, but kind of the same technique. So here is this beautiful MetalLust quad from Tom Ford, and here is one round of swatching of the product, and then going in with a second round of swatches, just so you can see how it is built up. So I'm starting one eye look with that taupe shade and laying it down, and as you can see, it's pretty close to my skin tone, but it's deep enough that it can be built up. So just taking my time to build up that crease shade, and then going on in with the upper left glitter shade, which is more of the shade, the glitter shade that looks a little bit more rosy gold on my skin tone. And it almost has a pink light shift. The texture of that shimmer shade is similar, most similar to the Victoria Beckham lid lusters, but not as emollient. And I'm just taking my time to build up that color. And then going back into that taupe crease shade to define. And I did find that using my finger to lay down the product also gave it bigger impact. And then I'm starting the other eye look with the same taupe shade, just building up that crease. And I'm using a Sonia G brush from the Sky set. It's one of my favorite brushes just because I have a smaller eyelid area to work with and it doesn't get too unwieldy. And then going in with the other shimmer shade at the bottom, which is more of a cool tone, silvery color. And again, I'm going in to use my finger just to lay down more product for more impact. And I really do love both these colors. One is more cool tone, one is more pinky. And then using my Sonia G mini booster, I love this brush as part of that Sky series set. And then going in with that deepest chocolatey color to build up the outer V area and give myself more dimension. And it just adds depth. And I have some hooded eyelids, so this is a technique that I learned from other YouTubers that we don't all have the same eye shape, so we have to kind of create more of an outer V. Using an Esom crease brush, and it basically gives more of a defined outer V. And I love, this is probably one of my most favorite tools of brushes in my collection, just because I do have to kind of fake a crease shade there, or a crease, because of my hooded eyelids. And it just lays down the color, and I just, lay it down and then build it up. And again, going back with my fingers to add on more product. And it was a really easy look. Those are very similar shades, but it's just nuance on the shimmers of the tones and the color. And then going in with a brush just to clean up the area. Going in with the Lotus series. I forget if this is called the pencil brush, but it's a really soft brush for under eye area. My eye tends to water if I don't have the right tool underneath for my lower lids, and I love this brush. And just opening my eyelids and then my look more by adding color at the bottom. I'm happy with how the product is laying down. And then going in with a smudger brush from the Lotus series and spreading some of that shimmer shade on the bottom from the inner corner. And then just really mixing it. I'm using a Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes brush here, still testing that product out. And then I'm going in with the same shade and then just adding that for dimension on the inner crease. There is a little bit of fallout, but not too much. So I just went in with my Wayne Goss powder brush to wipe off any extra. And then also my concealer brush from Pat McGrath to clean up that area. Finishing with Tom Ford eyeliner, the liquid, and my Chanel mascara to finish off the look. And I'm really happy of how beautiful and simple the look is. And that's what Tom Ford is known for. Just really beautiful, simple elegance. I love it. I love both of the colors. These are everyday colors for me that go well with any look. So why don't I go ahead and do some swatches. I did swatch these at the beginning, but what I can say already is that these are pretty much classic Tom Ford mattes. They don't feel like the new formula to me. So I'm grabbing my Tom Ford Tiger Eye just to test out those mattes compared with these mattes. So I went ahead and swatched those. Yeah, these are a different formula. These new mattes are definitely like what they call creamy mattes. And that's the, this is in MetalLust, and this is in that new formula. So why don't I swatch at least the two deeper colors. So this is from MetalLust, and this is from the creamy matte formula. So you can see it's actually a little bit different. This is like more of a true matte, and this has a little bit of more sheen in it. But actually they just feel completely different. So that creamy matte formula definitely has a little bit more wetness to it, feels a little bit more give, cream to powder, and this feels more like a classic matte. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to lift this up while I'm swatching. So right off the bat, I can tell you is that these shimmer shades do have kickback. And I am just noting not to go ham on those. What I'm finding is if I put my brush in too aggressively or too hard, it starts to crumble. I think you can kind of see that happen right here. And so, you know, the last thing I want to do is create huge divots in my Tom Ford pan without like actually wanting to project pan it, if that makes sense. So why don't I go ahead and swatch these. And that's that matte. So really love this. I think in hindsight, what I could do is actually use this first to deepen up the entire lid and then lay these down. But again, today I'm just using these two for the main lid and a little bit of pop of this in my inner corner because it's a little bit more silvery cool, which is more on my skin tone. This ends up being more almost, you can almost see that it's almost pink, which I am living for. It's so funny because it doesn't look really pink in the pan, but you can see there's a little bit of a rose gold. Go. So you can see those mattes do build up. And that's why at first I was a little bit, ooh, I don't know, this is kind of close to my skin tone, but it's not, at least for me. Now, if you're deeper than me, this would be a problem shade, maybe. I'm thinking that if you're probably caramel, I don't know if this is gonna show up on you, or deeper than that. This you can always a little bit, you know, work with, but I'd be concerned about these ones. So far, I'm like really happy with the shimmer shades at the very least. So I grabbed the Tiger Eye and was kind of wondering if this shadow was close to anything. It's close, but it's less shimmery, but it's still pretty. So that's from Tiger Eye, and it's this shadow right here. I went ahead and grabbed my Natasha Denona Glam Face palette. I have that in the deep one. And the reason I didn't get this palette right away, because I really thought this might be a dupe for this, but I actually think this is a deeper skin friendly, just after seeing these and trying these on. And so here's that Glam Face palette. And let me do a swatch of this smoke shade here. And the only other color I could think that might be a possible dupe is this shade here. It's the inner corner shade here. So it's pretty close. It's actually a little deeper. And here's that Natasha Denona one. So it's definitely a bit deeper. It's close to this taupe shade, but can you see that it's a little bit deeper than this one here? It almost looks like it has a little bit more red in there, where this is more cool tone. I would say it's not an exact dupe of this Glam Face palette. So I'd wonder if this shows up on people with deeper skin tones. So let me know below. I'm not sure. It's not the same as this. I only found two shades that might be close to it. I mean, it's a similar vibe, but it's not the same. Dior Soft Cashmere palette. And so let me see, I'm thinking, again, this brown up here, and maybe this shade here. This is actually a little lighter. And that's definitely a more cool tone. You know, that actually is pretty close. I'm grabbing that shade up here. but if you see in the reflection, I would say that's the closest to it. You know, it looks a little bit more purple, this one. So it kind of leans more cool in a purple way. And what I love about this palette depends on what I'm wearing or what season, that sometimes it looks cool tone brown, but you can see this purple that I'm wearing, that if I'm wearing something with jewel tones or something with plums or red or plums or purples, it will actually pull more this color, more purple with this palette. I just love this palette. I also pulled out my Dior Atelier of Dreams, House of Dreams palette, which was from the holidays, and just kind of curious if any of these might be a possible dupe. Again, the brown could be a dupe. You know, browns are browns. Actually, this leans a little bit more plum. And then I'm thinking maybe this shade. Let's see. No, it's too light. I remember this palette being a little bit on the lighter side. So yeah, nothing in that palette. And that was the Dior House of Dreams palette from the holiday collection. That was my favorite one. And then what else did I pull? I ended up pulling, and I did a really quick video of this, of my unboxing of mini haul. I was thinking about this Victoria Beckham lid luster. Now, I only own one of these. I'm hoping to pick up more. Just, again, I'm trying to slow down on my purchases and use what I have. I did end up picking this up at the end of last year because there was a sale at Victoria Beckham. And it reminded me, so these shimmer shades reminded me of the feel of Victorian lid lusters. Now, these are definitely more emollient. I could feel there's definitely more moisture, and there's actually, what I do love about this is that because there's more moisture, there's like more tack, and I find that I don't think this is glitter, whatever the shiny particles are, they actually stay on the lid much more than these. But there's no fallout. I have not experienced fallout with this MetalLust, so that's not an issue. But there's definitely more impact with this lid luster that you can see. Which, you know, I'm in love with these lid lusters. I'm really excited to get more. If you've tried that lid luster formula and you think there's one I should try or a couple, let me know. Or even I want more of those Posh lipsticks, but I can't tell online like what color would be good on me. So if you have any suggestions, I would love that if you don't mind chiming in below. But boy, would those look pretty together. All those would be like a marriage made in heaven. That's beautiful. So I pulled out all my Tom Ford quads that might have some similarities. And as you know, wet dry formula is really, really popular. So this is Body Heat. And if you're interested in a ranking video of my favorite Tom Ford quads, the ones I own, let me know. And this is also a really beautiful palette, and depending on what I'm wearing, it'll also shift. Again, you can see it's pretty cool, but then you have this like warm terracotta kind of rust color at the bottom, and I've often just used one and done on these, and it's just, I just love this quad. Let's see. So not as impactful. You can see that this wet dry formula, I've also had this probably over a year, so it's starting to dry up. But that doesn't mean the quality's any less in terms of putting that on my eyes. And that's why it's the wet dry formula. You can actually wet these and then it just looks fantastic on the eyes. And fantastic for aging eyes too. Just to note that, you know, I have aging eyelids and wrinkles up there. I mean, I hide them. I try to hide them as much as possible, but these Tom Ford eyeshadows are, I feel, much more forgiving on wrinkles on the eyes, more than Natasha Denona. I do notice you can see more of my wrinkles with Natasha Denona eyeshadows. Okay, I also grabbed New Dip, and this is actually a new one because I actually gave my other one away to my niece. And so this is, I'm not going to say which are my favorites. So if you want me to do a ranking video, I'm happy to tell you. So this one here could be a dupe. Let's see. I'm running out of room, but let's see what we have here. So that's pretty cool toned. But you can see again, it's a different formula. These are really emollient, much more emollient than these wet dry formulas. I don't think these are dupes at all. So I think I can say pretty much definitively that this wet dry formula is definitely different than this MetalLust or Lava Luster formula. And the MetalLust or Lava Luster formula is much more creamy and impactful with that glitter in it. And I think that's why, you know, I mean, I guess that's exciting for Tom Ford. Like, they created this creamy matte formula, and I'm excited to see what they come out more. And I'm hoping they come up with more exciting colors than the basic colors. That's what I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping for these new Lava Lusters that they come out with like even more fun colors. So I'm not giving up on Tom Ford because I'm just more perplexed about like their releases in the past couple of years. Okay, so this one is Suspicion, and I'm grabbing this one here and seeing, I'm gonna start flipping it this way. So, and again, this is right here, these four. No, nothing for that, but can you see how beautiful that is? I just, oh, this is such a beautiful quad. Depending on, it could be seen, it's almost a purple brown, but then it has these kind of like sunset kind of colors, like it reminds me of the desert. I did order that Byredo palette, and it's so funny to read the comments that some people were like, oh, it's so beautiful, and others were like, trash. It says like, this is not worth $96. And it's makeup is so subjective. Like, some people were like so excited to get it, and some poor people were just like, nope, easy pass. And just it's funny for me to see what makeup reactions people have. So I did end up buying it. Those colors are my jam. It's called Floral Kalahari, so I love those kind of, it's based on I'm gonna assume the Kalahari Desert in the continent of Africa. And yeah, there's like blues and a teal, and then there's like sand colors. And if you've ever been to the desert, depending on the time of day and the sun hits, the sand looks different. So I think that's kind of, I'm gonna guess that's maybe what they went for. Like, the sand and the color of that beige can hit differently, whether it's like gold or, you know, yellow or peach. So those are my jam. So I opened this. I don't think there's any, let me see, maybe this one. This is my Tom Ford Soleil et Lune number 02. And this was a special, like a limited edition palette. No, too light. I mean, it's almost, just trying to find a dupe for this. This is more shimmery, but it's a similar vibe. So it's this color up here. You can see it's much more peachy. So this is Tom Ford Soleil de Vie 03, and this again was part of that limited edition. I love this as a summer palette. It's just so pretty, and I just wish Tom Ford came out with more quads like this, like these colors. And maybe they have. It's just maybe those colors they came out with are just not my jam. See if any of these are close. No, but that's similar to that. That is kind of close to this. And this is going to be lighter. So there are two that are close, and it would be this one. One here, if you have this quad, Soleil de Vie. Running out of arm space. So it's possible to dupe this color, but I have not really seen one in the Tom Ford collection for that. So I think I'm done with the swatches. I don't have any other arm space, but you can tell I type, and that's why I'm interested in that Kalahari palette, that these browns, warm tones that sometimes can traverse into cool tones. Those are my jam. And this Suspicion palette, you can see, is just, this is what I meant by, I'm really excited to get that Byredo palette. That it might be like kind of variations on sand And this is kind of what I imagine it might be. But I love that Suspicion quad as well. Let me know if you're interested in having me do a Tom Ford show my quad collection and do a ranking video. I was really on the fence of I was going to get this new quad because I was slightly disappointed in the new Tom Ford matte formulation. And it's not that they're terrible. I just want to be clear about that, because some people were really, when I chimed in on some people's feeds about like, you know, the Tom Ford formulation, some people were like a little touchy about it, and that's fine, but I didn't want to upset anybody. They're great. For me, I just have a large collection of makeup and thinking about how much these companies ask us to pay. And so for $89 out the gate for shadows where maybe 2 of the 3 you're not crazy about, like for me, that's kind of not a win. Whereas I love all these shades, because I was debating whether or not Tom Ford or the Chantecaille Giraffe quad. And I think that's like $74 or $75. And those pans are tiny. I own some Chantecaille, but these pans are tiny. Okay, just want to show you the comparison. So, you know, I'm also thinking about the value of what you're getting. So the amount of makeup you get is so much tinier than this. I can say for sure that I am so happy with this quad that I'm gonna call it, unless Tom Ford comes out with another quad this year, which I hope they do. They usually do a holiday one at the end of the year, but I don't know. We'll see. And I would say this is probably my favorite Tom Ford quad so far this year, and we're already only in March. So final thoughts are I absolutely love it. I'm so happy that I went ahead and bought this and went for it when it came back in stock. If at the time of posting this video if I find that the MetalLust has come back in stock, I will link it below. I ended up getting this from Beautylish, and I think they might have a button there that you can sign up of like, it's out of stock, but let me know, notify me when it's back in stock. So I think I had clicked that button, and so I got that through Beautylish. And the wonderful thing is, some of you know through Beautylish, is that the stuff comes really quick. So I think I got it within, I want to say 2 days. That's all I have today. And I hope, if you have any questions or comments, do you like this palette? Do you have it? Let me know what you think. I definitely think it's probably dupeable. It's nothing unique that you probably don't have maybe in your collection already, but in terms of a classic, basic, cool tone palette with high quality eyeshadow, this is the one. So you know, definitely if you're thinking about getting it, I think you should try to pick it up. I would guess if it's selling out so fast that at some point it might be really hard to get if they stop making it. So some of the Tom Ford products are limited edition, but I don't know if this is going to be limited edition. I would hope not, but I would hope they would make this part of their collection, but we don't know. So I would say if you're definitely thinking about it, I would say go ahead and pick it up, because it just, I don't know, it might not be for sale anymore. And I think it's definitely worth the price. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so below by clicking the subscribe button and clicking on the notification bell, which alerts you when a new video is uploaded from my end. And I try to upload 2 to 3 times a week. And you can go and follow me on Instagram as well at Beauty. I often do swatches. Liking this video and commenting below, it really helps my channel out. And as always, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. And until I see you in the next video, take good care. Thanks. Bye.